So we're here in the apartment like usual, and today, this time, in this video, I'm gonna talk about my first car. And you're all thinking, what was Rogue's first car? And surprise, it's not a Toyota, it's not a Peugeot, it's not a Volvo, it's not even a brand anymore. I don't think the brand actually exists. It was a Daewoo. It was a Korean muscle car. It was a 1.5 86 brake horsepower single cam drag racing machine, and I owned the streets in that car. My mom bought it to me. Thank you, Mom. And it's kind of a 18-year-old present, and well, it was a pretty good present. I'm gonna give her that. I choose the car because I knew nothing about cars. I still know nothing about cars, but at that time I knew nothing at all. So I was like, oh, I like that one, and I choose a Korean car. And that was like a couple of years before I found out that Toyota was the greatest car brand in the world, making perfect cars all the time, never doing anything wrong. But I didn't know that at that time, so I thought, a Daewoo, why not? I actually had that car for 5 years, 6 years, so great car. So what did I do to it? I'm gonna post some pictures in somewhere in the video so you can see what I'm talking about. So I had it when I was still in a Princess when I was 18, a Carpenter's Princess, and well, it was a good little car, and I had to go down to the local car pusher and car parts pusher, and of course I had to get tinted windows. I had to get an exhaust, and when I'm saying exhaust, I'm not talking full exhaust or headers or catback exhaust. No, just the back box. That's it, for maximum power, because why not? Why would you put a full exhaust on when you can just put a back box on for the good sound? And I also had an air intake, and what I mean with an intake, it was just an air filter on the stock location, at the stock location. And I couldn't afford a K&N or something expensive, so I just bought one of those cheap filters for like 150 kroners. So that was great. I don't know if it added horsepower, but it sounded great. And it started rusting after a couple of years. I had it lowered 40 millimeters, lowering springs. I had it remapped. I had like a chip in it. I had to take out the engine management, send it to England, get it back. And I'm pretty sure they only added the sticker because that couldn't possibly have given any kind of horsepower. But that was a great waste of 4,000 kroners. I got it rims, oxygen, 16-inch rims. Yeah. So I basically spent like 20,000 and useless stuff. Oh, I also got like a stereo with 2 10-inch subwoofers and an amplifier and stuff like that. It was useless, but I had it in, and it was pretty good. It was actually, the car was pretty loud, and the stereo was even louder, and I actually started street racing in that car, and I quickly found out that I had bought about the slowest car that I could get, and it was pretty uneconomic to drive to. It had decent kilometers per liter, but nothing great. At least the gas prices were cheaper back then. So that's 12 years now. I got my first car 12 years ago. That's crazy. Yeah. So, and I always I had the car, and I always had a dream. Oh, I was gonna make it faster and tune it, and we could get all fun stuff out of it. But the fact of the matter is, I knew nothing about tuning. I didn't even know that you could remove the catalytic converter, and that would add horsepower. I have no idea how to do that. I had no friends that could help me, or nothing. So basic stuff like just removing the cat. I have no idea what to do with that. I never did anything that would actually work, like put on a full exhaust or some kind of efficient mod. Nope. I basically stayed with that tune, that remap or whatever, and the back box and the intake, and that was it. I drove the car for 6 years like that. So, but it's a great little fun car, and I actually, on the second date with my wife, I actually picked her up in that car, and I'm pretty sure that's why we got married. Oh, she can't hear me. That's great. She's sitting right there over to the side. I'm not gonna film her. So. Hey. Basically the car, I hope you enjoyed the pictures. Oh yeah, I'm gonna post one last picture right now. And that's a picture I had like neon lights under the car. Blue neon lights. Just for extra Fast and Furious atmosphere. So the car was basically Korean rice. I don't know, they probably eat a lot of rice in Korea, but Korean rice, and not that riced out, but it was trash. And I actually had that car to the end. I didn't sell it, I just gave it to us. It was just a scrapyard that bought it, and it never drove again. I think they crushed it. It was pretty just, I don't even think the part was worth of anything. I actually drove that car till it couldn't handle driving anymore. But it took 6 years of beating, so that's pretty impressive. So kudos to Daewoo, which is now Chevy. So actually I had a Chevy before Chevrolet. It was actually becoming a Chevrolet. And I have a Chevy engine in my Mopar, so things are like coming together. It's like, it's fate, it's destiny. So next time I'm gonna build a Korean dragster. 100% Korean. No, I'm not gonna build a Korean dragster. I hate Korean cars. I don't hate Korean cars, but I'm not gonna buy one. So that was my little story about my little red Daewoo Lanos 1.5 GT. No, GE. No, was it LE? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, the last thing. You could actually get a 1.6 GT with 116 horsepower, but I couldn't afford that one, or my mom couldn't afford that one. So that was the car that I dreamt of for 6 years. Like, I wanted the 1.6 GT. That was like nearly a GTI. That would have taken the car from immensely slow to slow. Not fast. Fastest over here somewhere. Not in Daewoo Lanos territory, but that's basically the story, and I hope you enjoyed this little anecdote of my first car. The next video, the next story about my second car is gonna be a lot more entertaining. Actually, my second car is pretty boring, but my second car. The story about my second car, and I'm gonna put a little teaser right here in the bottom, and most of you guys that watch this video probably know what my second car is, but I'm gonna surprise you. I don't know when I'm gonna make that video, but I don't know, months, years, who knows? Or when somebody requests a video about that car. So I hope you like this one, and comment, like, subscribe, share. Yeah, don't share, share it, and have fun, and yeah, see you guys around.